I'm starting. You're jerks, all of you.
He's the bestest.
I don't think it's up. Let's see. There it is. Hello, survivors. I'm T McVenom with Reality Skew Gamers. It's good to be back. I was away on vacation last week. It was awesome. Finn didn't ruin the stream too much. Delete and Daedric kept him in line. So thank you guys for doing that. Welcome to the new reveal of our new layout. This is now the bunker with RSG for State of Survival. You can see our whole new layout. It's still kind of a work in progress. Finn has done a lot of work, and he pretty much just coached me through entering numbers and how to fix this setup. So thank you to Finn here up in the top left or right, one of them. So we've got on the left side, we have our State of Survival, the bunker. This is where all of our super chats will go. And then on the right side, we have our chat, our live chat. So that way anybody that's reading or watching the stream after, if they didn't get to catch it live, they can still see the chat scrolling and see what we're talking about as we're talking about.
It doesn't seem to be working, so I'm going to try and figure out why it's not working.
That's RSG at its finest there.
It is.
We're going to have some other things at the bottom. As I said, it's still a work in progress, but we're tweaking it to where we can have different scenes at the bottom as far as gameplay scenes and stuff. And also we have it to where anytime we need to, we can pull up, and my camera just went out of focus there. There we go. So we can pull up actual gameplay whenever we want to, like down here. We're going to kind of tweak that a little bit. We may put it bigger in the center, but that's our new theme, guys. We're pretty excited. So again, I'm your host, T McVenom. We have Finity. He's playing on 359 with us. Over here in the other corner, we have Delete. He's in 125 and in 359 with me. And then we have Daedric, who is in 42 still. He refuses to budge to go to any other server, even though we've been begging him to come over. He just won't. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, Daedric. Nope, not gonna happen. No.
He's a one settlement kind of guy.
Right. Oh, it's working now. Great. So the chat's working. Awesome. The other person on the stream that you don't see because he is a hermit and he doesn't like to show his face ever is Durgan. You can say.
I don't think they
hello,
can
Durgan.
see him though.
They can't see him. I don't have it on there because his little.
Well, you can bring his name up.
Because she doesn't like me that much. I mean, it's,
could bring his name up, but then
you keep me hidden in the background. I understand.
It throws off my. Well, I guess that's okay. So.
I get it.
I guess
that's
okay. Durgan plays on 359. Durgan actually played at one point in 125 and said, "Forget this. This is ridiculous. I'm not playing with McVenom anymore."
It's too soon to talk about that. Let's move on, please.
But
he got a dust boot.
He got dust boot twice from me. I kicked him twice.
I still have trouble sleeping.
And burned. I think I might have burned him the second time.
Let me. Wow. Where's my alliance stuff? It's all gone. That's weird.
Actually, it was funny because he got burned by somebody in our alliance, and then they were like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know it was your friend." I was like, "It's okay," and then I hit him just to train the rest of his for us. I'm like, "Well, I'm sure he'd rather me have it than anybody
wondered
else."
why I had a hard time coming back to the game. You wonder why. Should come back and play with us.
Utah donated $5 and said, "I was told a year ago today that I could order a cross stitch on a charity stream. Where do I place the order? I will send you a DM where you can place the order, and you will get it in like 10 years. How about that, Utah?"
And then she'll burn your house.
I'll burn your house down and kick you from the alliance. But anyway, Durgan's on 359. Look, Finn, don't do that. Durgan's on 359 with us, and he is new to the game, and he's playing, he's learning, he's doing much better in 359 because 125 was an already older state, so it was really hard to start fresh there.
You know what the key is? You haven't been on there much to yell at me. That's been the key so far.
Yeah.
I can change that. I can change that.
No. It's good. You're good.
I'll go hide in the supply closet at the hospital at work and just go.
You're a hardworking woman. You gotta pay those bills. And
anyway, I want to say hello to all the people in chat. We have Deadpool Kyle, Tits of Fury, my girl, Crazy. Fuck. I don't know how else to say that. It doesn't sound obscene. But Colossus is in there. Sweet Addict. Hi, Sweets. Durgan. Shawnar's in there. Utah. Leprechaun. Nathan H. He said, hello there, skewers and zombie apocalypse survivors. Love it. Ranger, stop with what you're saying. Did you see what he put in there, Finn?
I saw what he put in there.
He's trying to troll me already.
Mm-hmm.
Who else do we have in here? Ruiz. I always want to put an I in his name. Slick, and I think that's a couple more, but that's what we have right now. You guys, if you have any questions, please throw your question in there in the form of question in the beginning so that Finn can pick it up on Nightbot for me. He's so good at it, so I just had to delegate that role to him. Daedric and Delete wouldn't do it for me. I don't think they would. So tonight we're going to just kind of go over some plague zones. We don't really have a whole lot going on in the game as far as new updates or anything interesting other than us trying to still figure out the mechanics of the new troop stuff. Has anybody got any insight on the new troop mechanics yet? Like the strength difference, like the trap. I know we were playing around with the trap earlier, still trying to figure out what that is. Have any of you guys gotten any new info on that since we last
randomly damage and trap today than I have been doing, but there was absolutely no change in my formation or anything that was going on, or any joiners, so that was strange. I did get a really interesting survey about how they want the game to look. They're doing a drastic change to the game again. They're changing the color scheme and the layout of more screens coming soon. And it was hey, do you like the old or the new? Oh, why don't you like the new one? Write it in. And it was basically every main screen of the game. So I thought that was interesting in a survey.
Wait, did they show the screens?
Yeah.
In the survey?
So it was the Survey Monkey survey that they put out, and they showed you the new screen versus the old screen, and they were hey, what do you think about the new one? How do we optimize it to make you like it? And it was just well, you can change the colors of the old one and just leave it. Would probably be better than just destroying it, because this looks like a destruction. I like one of the newer screens out of the 6 that actually I think it was 7 of the screenshots they showed you. So I was just oh, great.
Interesting.
It's gonna be very meh.
Also, a quick shout out to Maz Kanata. She also picked up the SOS game, which she's a great gamer. She plays a bunch of games with us. She does D&D with Finn. She plays Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. She joins us in Don't Starve. She's just awesome person. And so we were super excited to get her into an RFG Alliance in State of Survival. So she's going to pick it up and she's going to be beast at it soon. So hi, Maz. And hi, Buzzsaw. Thanks for joining. Daedric, anything new?
He's with us too, by the way.
Who? Buzzsaw is? Really? Gosh, I'm missing so much. I hate working full time. I'm missing so much. Daedric, anything new with you? Anything new going on with the game that you've noticed lately in the last week since last time we talked?
No.
Pearls of wisdom dropping from the mountaintop over there. All right. So, yeah. So let's go right into plague zones. So we're going to try to do these maybe every other stream, or maybe every 2-3 streams. I don't know. We want to do some basic guide stuff. So that way when we can refer to these videos for new players just to kind of check these out whenever we're discussing a certain topic and we've given a basic guide to it. Not video style, but more us talking about it. And, we have Durgan here with his noob questions and Finn with his noob questions, because we were just saying earlier that a lot of the stuff that we do, we're older players, so we don't even remember going through learning these things. And so what was the confusing parts for us when we first started. So it's good to have some new player perspective when we're talking about these things. First things first, let me pop in our new code. And we have it scrolling up at the top, guys. I'm so excited. I won't have to flash back and forth. We can just have the code scrolling up at the top. So the gift code for this time is Finity. Please don't share it. This is for you guys only. King's Group is only giving us a limited amount of uses for these. So you guys go into game real quick, get your code, use it, don't share it, leave it for just people that are coming in and joining the stream. So I think that one's good for 1K bios and 2 advanced searches. So it's a pretty good code. Okay, so where should we start? We're going to start, this is my little 359 base. That's my Burning Fin Man right there, if you guys don't know what that is. Love the new setup, McV. $4.99 from Fury. Thank you so much, Fury. We appreciate it. This is a cool idea. We really wanted to... oh, look. And on the left, we got Fury's super chat dropped in and a little thing dropped into the cup. That's cool. So, yeah, we really wanted to make this a theme because I really got tired of seeing T McVenom promoted on the Facebook channel. It was just my name. And I'm like, this is kind of a group thing. And I wanted it to have like a group title. So actually Delete came up with the name, The Bunker. So,
aww.
Yeah, it was his name. He came up with the name. So I just loved it. So we're going to go with this theme. And also happy anniversary, Delete.
Oh, yeah.
This is some dedication for you. His wife is a gem that she's allowing him to come on the stream with us after they had dinner.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Plague Zone. Does anybody else want to start off? I feel like I've been talking forever here.
Plague Zones. So.
Plague Zones.
You're good.
So, first things first, let's talk about the rewards for Plague Zones before we get into what kind of rewards, like what the meat of the Plague Zones. Do you guys feel like the Plague Zone rewards are good?
Yeah.
I do too.
I think comparatively to like killing other infected, you can get, I think it's 36 chief gear pieces, or no, hero gear pieces. That you can get from a plague zone, from a completed plague zone. So, which is a pretty good amount. You need 44,000 for a gold level piece. But like if you look at it from a trap perspective, trap is a level 30 trap, gives you at first place, gives you 1,630 pieces, so 36 comparatively to that, it's still better than nothing. And then you get the overall daily rank rewards, which are pretty, considering that all you have to do is just play it and you get them anyway, it's pretty solid. So overall, I think Plague Zones are good. I wish they contributed more. I wish they contributed towards, infected, for like...
Are you talking about the ranking rewards, the Alliance rankings?
Yeah, for the Alliance rankings for Plague Zones. I do wish they contributed towards like your infected. You should be able to bang out like plague zones for the survival of the fittest infected, or the state warfare for infected. They count as a completely separate animal. But comparatively as a piece in the game, it's a lot of stamina to get through it comparatively. But I think if you're close to getting another hero gear piece, it's worth it.
So my big issue with the rewards is, why are they giving out Jane fragments?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. For Plague Zone, I don't know, because it is a PvE. I feel like even somebody like, I guess we have the Travis event, so you can't really give out Travis frags, but maybe even like Mike, because we use Mike for like the bosses in PvP. PvE, why wouldn't you use Mike or somebody like that? Like, does anybody use Jane really?
No.
I'll use her as much as Mike, except Mike has the food. For me personally, like, because I'm focusing on Sarge, I don't really need any other shooty hero. So Sarge is the one I'm working on. Yeah.
I had her way
stabby,
back
and punchy.
I've never used her, so.
I can be 100% honest. I don't know that I've ever used Jane, and I've been playing this for a while. Leprechaun, $5 for Fury from Pixie. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Thank you, Leprechaun. $5. That's awesome. Thank you.
Do they change the rewards for the plague zones, or does it stay that pretty
No,
much?
this is what it's been like. I don't know, Daedric, was it something different a long time ago, or I don't.
No, it's always remained the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say at least for me as like a newer player that's starting, right? The Jane fragments for me actually do help a little bit. It's not one that I use, right? But I'm still trying to fill out all of my marches to get enough heroes to increase the troop size, right? So I think when you get older and you're more veteran in the game, like Jane just kind of falls, and there's probably some other ones that are better. But for now, like I have Mike, I can see coming into the intels a little bit more. So I do have some Mike shards coming in. Jane, I don't get a lot of outside of the Plague Zone. And then I get a good amount from both the Plague Zone from beating the Matriarch, and then the daily also gives Jane, right? So my source of Jane shards to at least get that hero up, because I don't have the whole depth of it, ends up working out pretty well for this. It's, I don't know what happens later on if you just like can you max out Jane and then she has like nothing else to do? And so you get these frags, and what do you do with them? At that point, I don't know what to do, but at least from where I am right now, kind of early, the Jane, it fits pretty well with what I need, which is just getting heroes at higher rank and just getting more frags of some of the characters that I have. And I only have a limited amount. We're in a newer state, right, in 359. So I know we don't have access to all of the heroes yet, but Jane is one that I don't see a lot of other sources for outside of when I first logged in, and it gave me that like 5-day event to get those extra Jane shards, and I was like, "Ooh, look, an event!" And I just went crazy on it. And since then, I've been obsessive about every event. But that's the only other way that I gotten Jane shards. So, I mean, I'm assuming it can be better, but I don't. Newer player, it fits well, I think, with what I'm trying to get done.
Jane is probably my least used hero overall in the game. Like she's not a gatherer. She's not, an effective. When she comes out, she's not an effective use because she's only using plague zones. You only get it from plague zones, which you can't really do unless you've got a pretty stronger character or you're just tagging along in other people's plague zones, like in their war group, So, she's definitely by far, I've like used her the least out of everyone that I've had, and that's probably one of the things that's probably the most maddening about the game is I've got everyone at Colonel. Every hero that I have is at Colonel. I had enough blank frags to actually take the 2 brand new purple heroes all the way up to Colonel. So it was just like, okay. So, but I keep getting these frags, which turn into absolutely nothing. Unfortunately, when you're at that level.
Yeah.
There should be some kind of way to kind of like, even if it's just like, spin the wheel for a chance to get something that you might actually need. Like anything.
Well, that would be interesting. A chance to get something that you want. I would play.
Yeah, right. Because right now they're just going into limbo.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They can't.
Does anybody else, if anybody else uses Jane at all, I would just be interested to know like what you use her and if you actually leveled her up. The one thing that I do enjoy is the Plague Zone crates, because you do get Maddie frags from that. So I do like those. Do you get them in the smaller ones too? You get a chance of them. You get a chance over in the smaller ones, right? So it depends on your star level. So if you're down here in, let's say, the 12-star rewards, let's see what the chance of them. You still get a little bit of a chance of getting some Maddie and some other fragments. So I like those. I'm still like, I don't really pay attention as much as I probably should about the star rankings and like getting our stuff with that. We used to pay attention to that a lot, but just don't have the time. Do you guys do that? I know, Finn, you do.
The star ranking? Which one are you talking about?
So your alliance ranking, and you get the Plague Zone rewards crate from your alliance rankings. So
I open the mail and don't pay attention to anything.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be looking at something.
Yeah, and I don't know, Daedric, did you guys focus hard on that on 42 at all? Do you even bother with Plague Zones that much, or what do you do?
Some alliances, yes. It's not of a big deal as it used to be. When we're talking rewards, we're at a point where a lot of individuals don't need 90% of the rewards that are given. Because once you've been in a state for a certain amount of time, a lot of the rewards become obsolete and they just sit in your backpack.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. Like the 125, I would use it for like the res and stuff like that, and for the chance of Maddie frags, because I'm still trying to get Maddie maxed out. I don't even have her maxed out yet, but that's really about it. And because this epic skill books, I don't know that any of us are really using those on 125 anymore. We're using the legendary skill books still, but. So, yeah, but for newer states, this is pretty key, though, because you're getting your frags, you're getting, even if it's only a chance at getting some of those frags, if your alliance is really pushing this hard, you can get some good chances at some good frags on that. Plus, you get good res in these plague zones. I do like the res rewards. I can't remember exactly how much it is.
That's actually one of the things that I would change, to be honest.
Really?
So you get the res when you kill the zone mobs and then like you kill the menace. But at the end, when you neutralize, I would much rather have those as things that go in my backpack rather than getting like 300,000 res directly into my inventory.
They don't go in your backpack?
Nope. No. You go directly into your what you have right now, which I can understand for the mobs when you directly kill them, right? So what you get from like the zone mobs and when you actually do the challenges on the menace and the matriarchs and you do the rallies, those make sense to me. That's the same way that you do the infecteds and the fiends. But then what you get at the end for like your neutralizing bonus, that they just give you like straight up everything just directly into your stores. And that to me could be changed into something that goes into your backpack. I would much prefer that.
Yeah.
And everything else is into your stores. So
definitely. Yeah, I agree.
As a noob, by the way, all because you get reserves in like 100,000s and thousands or whatever, you don't have to open all of them once you get them. You can just leave them in there. So this way, if you get attacked, there's no chance of losing them, because a lot of people will just be like, oh, I've got to open all of these. They might go away. You can just leave them in there. So this way you don't lose them in an attack because your backpack does not get affected by an attack whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't
I tried that, and I found one of the most annoying things happened to me when that happened, which is you go into your mail because there is that red dot that tells you have a mail. You click read and claim all, and that red dot remains because you have to scroll down and open the next page of emails in order to find it. And because of that alone, I don't do that anymore. I got sick of having to go through 3 different pages scrolling down in order to find the mail that had resources because I was hoarding so much. I was like, just screw it. I'm just gonna keep it. I'll buy flares if I need to. I'm done. If I click read and claim all, I would expect it to go through all of my mail and claim everything, not just claim like the ones that I can see in the first page and then have to like repeatedly scroll. So,
you got them on a soapbox now.
Too, because like I kept every battle report that I've ever had. Like at my first attack all the way through, and then I did an update and it's gone. The only thing that stayed were 2 of my favorites. That the ones that you can actually favorite it so it keeps it kind of top of mind and you can actually scroll to just that page. But everything was gone. So I could go back and see like, wow, look at his growth, or look at this settlement's growth from this spot to this spot, and I can kind of track it that way. Which was easier and which was nice because, I don't know, for me, that was kind of something that I was into for a little bit while I was in the game. Now it's just like, man, but it was disappointing to kind of go through and be like, wait, I've got those stats. Let me scroll through. And then it was like, wait, I've only got like a week here, not like, the 200 days I've been on or whatever the case might be. I don't even think where am I? How many days have we logged in, Venom? Do you know?
Nope, I don't. I know it was like March or something. Somewhere around in March. I don't know. Colossus gave us a £5 super chat. Thank you so much, Colossus. Didn't even put anything in it. And then Ranger did a $5 super chat. And I'm not reading that out. He just laughed and said a word I hate.
You're not going to read his super chat? What?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Moist. Ha ha ha.
Ooh.
It's mwahaha. Moist mwahaha. There you go. I
can't. Ranger, that was so mean.
Thanks,
Moist.
Ranger.
convert my 5-pound note to $6.69.
Yep, it does the conversion.
It's awful.
It's true. It did the conversion.
Yeah. The other thing is also I think who was it that said something about it? Ruz. He said that the Alliance coin is good too. The Alliance honor that you get from these is pretty good, and especially in the newer states, guys. The Alliance store is where it's at. So, and it's.
I have a nubby question.
Go ahead.
I have a nubby question.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get these Alliance rewards, there are the silver coins and the gold coins. I can see where I use these silver ones because I can go into the Alliance store and I see them. Where the hell are the gold ones?
The gold ones are for... Well, you know what? It's funny. I don't know because the gold ones are for tech in the older states, right?
Does it go to the Alliance to use for something? Like, I have no idea where the hell the gold one goes.
We don't use those anymore.
The gold coins? Isn't that the showdown?
No.
So the
No,
gold,
that's a different one. They're
No,
saying
the
like
gold-
it's for the Alliance pot, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
the gold coins are for R4s and R5s to stock up the Alliance store with materials. So as an R4 or 5, you'll notice there's two menus. You have a stock menu and an Alliance store menu. R4s and 5s can go into the...
Where do I see this?
We don't. We
So-
don't have it in the new
so-
states.
So just pull up the Alliance store tab, Finn.
So,
Okay.
So we don't have it in the new states.
So do you see the button on the bottom there?
There's only there's only today and this week. Those are the
Yeah,
only
so that,
options I have.
but what I'm saying though is that tab on the bottom for older states says stock.
Oh, okay.
And
So we
so
don't
we-
have it yet.
So we click on that, and what we do is, in order to fill up the Alliance store, we have to use Alliance gold coins to stock up the Alliance store.
Yeah.
And we
Gotcha.
use it for tech too, like to start
Yeah.
Alliance Tech. We use it for that. So like that's why this new state thing was kind of weird for us because we're using the res up here at the top. So it was
are
all
we-
new for us. Instead of using coin, we were using res to do all of our tech in our buildings and stuff.
So we're literally getting a reward that is not used in the new state.
Yes.
Okay. That's fine. I just had no idea what the hell it was. And I looked like all over the place. The closest thing was the showdown tokens, but it didn't match those. So, okay.
Yeah, the one big benefit old states have is it does not cost any resources to start tech, so I can do any research you want. Does not cost you gold. It does not cost you resources of any kind. The gold in old states you can use to speed up. So if it's 12 hours, it'll cost you a certain amount of gold to completely
Speed up.
complete the research instantaneously.
Okay.
Ranger.
That helps.
Ranger again with the super chat, $5. McVenom, your thoughts on Durgan's Wood? I don't have any thoughts on Durgan's Wood. Not for this game because we're playing State of Survival, so he doesn't.
I mean,
really
he
have
does
a
collect
lot.
wood, though.
I mean, it's
Okay.
usually petrified of her, so it's.
Got quite the stack. Quite the stack of lumber, that guy.
I mean, he can send me some if we had an Alliance market that actually traded. If we could trade between,
You'd probably just burn my base and take it.
I could do that. I've already done that though, so kind of takes the
Been there,
fun out
done
of
that.
it,
Don't have to do it again.
right? Yeah. So, yeah, that was what were we talking about? The Alliance funds. Yeah. So, I do like the Alliance honor. So that's kind of the rewards section. Let's see. Here we go. So you guys want to go run through a plague zone real quick? I'll just show them that.
So, a quick question on the plague zone. On the few I've done, the flashing ones are required. Is that
Yes.
you have to do that, and the other ones are kind of
Yes.
you don't?
So here, I'll show you a plague zone right now. So I think I have to go ahead and launch it. So I'm going to launch it. And hopefully nobody does anything. Who is that? Leprechaun. Fury for Governor, State 42.
Oh, I just had a 19. Couldn't you do a 20? Then I would have joined you. I need a 20.
Just do a 19. Gosh.
No, I'm not doing a 19. I need to save my stamina for a 20. What the hell would I do a 19?
Leprechaun, $5. Fury for Governor, State 42. I'd vote Fury for Governor. She's awesome. Okay, so yes, when you are hitting the plague zones, the ones on the corners are not necessary. You can take those out, and a lot of people do, but it's really not necessary as far as to take down the menace. So you have to hit the zone menace, and you have to take down, of course, the matriarch here in the center, right? But if you click on it, and this was a trick that a lot of people in 359 didn't know, but I learned it from a Russian in my 125 alliance in law. It was Vagabond. He was awesome. He was like, just click teats, and come out of it. He was trying to tell me how to do it. So you click and you see now that they're flashing. That tells you which ones you have to hit. So you see the ones up on the top corners, they're not flashing. Now, of course, the mist-covered ones, that one you're going to have to hit. I think we do have to hit the mist-covered, right?
I must have missed those.
Yeah, it unmists when you clear the one next to it that's required for the matriarch.
Yeah, so that one's not, but they're not required for this zone menace. So you can hit those, but when you click on the matriarch and come out, you have to click outside of it. It'll tell you those will flash which ones you need. See, you see this one here.
It is actually required for the menace too. It's just you won't be. It'll actually tell you that. Yeah, you have. So you still have to clear the other one to get to it.
But when you're in a smaller zone or a smaller plague zone without mist going around, like all of the ones that you need to hit are flashing. So that way you save some of your stamina. I'm already calling it spamina now, Finn.
Yeah.
Good job, Finn. Good job.
I love it. I love it. I love
Just a matter of time. I'm telling you, it's going to be stamina, shooty, stabby, punchy. It's all going to be ingrained. I'm telling you.
Yes, Fury. Please go ahead. Start it. Fury's like, can we start the plague zone, please? So
she's very pushy. I
yeah, she is.
That. She's
so if you're in the plague zone, you can also, like, let's say you get out of it, you have to go back to your base for some reason to get back to the plague zone, which I don't know why this took me so long to figure out. I was just like, oh my gosh, how do I get back in it? You just click back in here and go to. And it goes right back to it. But it took me forever to, I don't know why that was something that took me forever to figure out. But so right now I don't have enough marches to hit a bunch of them at once. I can only take out one. But they're all being marched to by my team member. So I'm going to hit one of these other ones that I know is necessary to be taken out. Like, okay, guys, oh my gosh, I don't even have time. I can't even hit one. They're all hitting some.
So my personal recommendation, because I am stingy, is to just take your time and use Travis on every single rally. Mm-hmm. But I what I've learned, and you guys tell me, is that in the later ones, you can't do that because time becomes a concern. Time hasn't been a concern so far up to 20, but does it become a bigger issue later on and like around 1?
It can if you don't have a full team hitting. So like if you don't have a full 5 people in here and you're hitting like the top max level plague zone, it can be one. I've never actually tried to do just one hit plague zones with Travis. I've just never done that because I just want them over and done with so I can move on to the next task. So I don't know. Delete, have you?
I feel like no in the older state because I feel like stamina is like giving out like biocaps are in the newer states. Because but in the newer state, I feel like if you did that, it's probably more effective because you don't get as much free stamina in the newer states as you do in the old. My personal feeling. But yeah, I've never done it. But I mean, it's definitely, I know people that just traditionally do that with their dailies. Travis runs every single daily that they have to save on so much, and you do. I mean, if you're balling on a budget, that's kind of the best way to do it.
I'll say the other thing too. So we had this discussion. I don't know if we talked about it last week, D, but I know I talked about it with Nikki and stuff before. And I think the difference is not that the newer states don't get as much stamina. It's that you guys get the stamina from like the Last Hope stuff directly into your backpack, and we get it directly into our stamina bar. So like I am constantly spending my stamina because you get 80 stamina and you get 40 bread every time you do it, or you grab one of those hope supplies. So I will make sure I have room for that 80 stamina before I collect that. Versus you guys, from what I understand, you guys get it straight into your backpack. So it's like, click, okay, now it's in your backpack, and you have it for later. So we don't get a huge amount of stores. So we don't get the little cans of stamina or anything like that. We collect those much, much less than you guys do. And so for the events where you have to kill infecteds and all that kind of stuff, we get some stamina cans from different things. It's not a lot. I can say, like, I can look, and I think in total, since I've started, and you guys, especially those that are in 359, know, like, I'm a hoarder and I really don't spend a lot. And I think in total, I've maybe spent about like 6 cans of stamina, because anytime I've needed a stamina boost, I've used the dog tag so far in order to get the level increase, because I needed to get my chief level up. But in total, since we've started playing, I have a total of 141 stamina cans, which I feel like is nothing compared to you guys who get it like all the time. And I think, I don't remember how much you guys have. You guys are in like the thousands or something with these things.
Killer Nikki is like probably one of the biggest hoarders of
She's
stamina.
A hoarder. She's like you.
She had over 1,200 cans of stamina.
Yeah.
You know, my bread count is like through the roof, like to the point where I tried to do explorer missions like back to back to back to back to back, and it was so tedious I had to stop. And I used like 200, and it, next thing you know, I was right back to 1,000 within like a week. So it was just like, this is just insane. You know, it's just incredibly insane to do it. And like, especially to get from like 79 to 80, you know, for a hero, it's 1.4 million in like XP. You get 1,544, I think, XP for heroes in the last mission, explorer mission possible. So to do it that way with explorer missions would take you hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. And it's not even that easy to clear. You know, like you have to have a pretty solid troop setup to actually clear that explorer mission to
on
even
auto.
get it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not even like a given that you do it. The first time I did it was like, oh my God, because it actually changed the boss for it. The explorer mission showed a picture of one boss, and then it gave me a different boss, and that's how I cleared it. So, you know, it's crazy that I'm like, I've got everyone at Colonel, and it was like, yeah, I kind of struggled to beat the last explorer mission.
Well,
You know,
I mean,
That is why I spread that is why I spend my bread daily.
yeah. It's not a terrible idea. Like, I mean, and honestly, if you're gonna play this game free to play, you need to be hyper focused. Like, you need to be planned out, and unless you're gonna be just a super casual player. But if
So
you
basically
really
like Affinity.
Yeah, if you're gonna be competitive in like these states with spenders and stuff, like eventually competitive to the point where you can keep up with them or keep up with the alliances that are in the top 10, you have to be super hyper focused like Finn is, with like planning out your strategy as far as when you're using your spam, when you're using this item versus that item, and just like logging in and doing your stuff every day. Like, it's exhausting. It's a very involved game if you're playing free to play.
You're playing free to play and you're trying to be at like a max level, or you're trying to really get there, you have to be scientific with your approach.
Yeah.
Is probably the way that I can kind of put it. You know, with setting up timers and being like, you know what, if I start my heroes or my troops build right now, maybe I should actually build lower troops and upgrade them later, so this way I can just get it to the point where I go to sleep, and then while I'm asleep, I'll build the upgraded troops and then go from there. You really have to map it out to the point where it's you're maximizing your time, because you pay for it is decreasing that time. So, you know, the game will take advantage of you if you're not trying to just be most efficient with your time. By far.
So
Fury wants you to join the rally, by the way.
I wanted to show them this. Like, if I am joining, I wanted to show them this first. Hold on, cancel, Fury.
Started and hadn't even joined it.
These guys are killers. I can't get on there. So I didn't get a chance to take out any of these, so I'm gonna take out one of these unnecessary ones just so that you guys can see what the attack is like for anybody that's watching later. Like, if I refer a new player to this. So it gives you, when you go to attack, of course, I have my stamina up there. Look how much spam I need to spend, Finn. It's bad. I'm at 235. I need to go through it.
I'm gonna. Okay. Oh.
What? Go ahead.
No, this screen bothers me.
Why?
This is still to me a bug in the game, and it annoys me
Why?
because it shows 10 stamina needed for this, right? If you go into the next screen and you put in Travis, it shows you 8, but you cannot activate it unless you have 10 stamina.
Yeah.
It still only costs you 8,
But it requires you to have 10 to activate it. Yeah. I know.
It is the most frustrating thing in this game as I'm trying to plan out stamina.
If that is the most frustrating thing to you in this game, then
Not doing.
yeah,
I
you're
have
not
to
doing
plan
something
out
right.
my intels different because the little hand grabby intels and the explorer ones, they'll reduce the cost with Travis, but they'll actually cost you that much. So you don't need 15 to do the explorers, you just need the 12 and it'll work. The hand grabby ones are just straight up 12. They don't do anything with it, right? So those ones I have to save until the end, and I have to do the other ones first so I can save that other ones. Otherwise, when I level up, I waste 2 stamina.
What are the hand grabby ones? What is that?
That's the ones where you get the extra troops.
Oops.
Oh,
Yeah, see,
oh
hold
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, see the hand grabby one. Hold on.
Hand grabby ones.
Yeah, you see it's right over there. See the hand grabby one.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. So we're on Plague Zone. And so the squad power, it shows the squad power up here on the top left. This is what you need to defeat this particular zone. And it gives you, of course, the coordinates remaining, how many there are left. Is that the remaining, how many infected there are? What is that? I can't even remember what that one is. What is the remaining?
Yeah, it's an X3 box, so that means that you have to hit it 3 times. I'm pretty sure the one that you clicked on probably has an X3 underneath it, right?
Oh, yes, you're right. That's what it is. So, yeah, good. Infected units, it tells you how many units are on there, and then the points that you'll gain for taking it out, and then, of course, your rewards. So, if you go to attack it, obviously, I am very low. Why? This is the thing that bothers me, too, is this freaking scroll. Like, why is the scroll always over the tabs for your formations? Like, why did they do that? It's in everything. Anytime we're doing trap or anything like that, the scroll is coming over. So if there's any, rally thing coming up, it's always over it. So if I did my scroll, like if I did this, why does it give me a frowny face?
So all of these tend to give me a frowny face. You
I go
still
for it anyway,
win. Yeah. For these ones, I've noticed that you still win, but it gives you kind of a low. I can't remember.
Try it.
They changed it to the frowny face in the most recent update, right? Before it used to say like walk through and close call, and then I can't remember what the red one was.
No
but now they just give you like
that, something like
yeah.
And
then they give you like this whole like smiley face thing. Tell me how you feel about your chances. Happy, close call. And
you know what it reminds me of, Finn? In the medical world, it reminds me of give me your pain rating on a scale from 1 to 10, and then you have the smiley faces all going down.
The stupid scale.
The scale of the, are you just okay, or are you, anyway. So I'll go and we'll see if this beats it.
Yeah, I did talk to someone that said that was like, oh, everything I try and do is a frowny face, so I don't even try. Sometimes you can beat that
Look,
frowny.
see, I just beat it with a frowny face. Yeah, so it works. Just try it. So I think at one point Durgan and I can't remember if we were on Old State or not. He was trying to go for Plague Zones, and I was like, let's just see what your lowest amount that you need to beat this is, so that way we can. See if we
I
can divide
vaguely remember you
yelling
showing me how to dip my toes in the plague water. So
yeah, and it was basically he didn't have a whole lot of troops, so we were trying to figure out how many he could send at one time, like if he could send 2 or 3 marches, and we were trying to figure out the lowest amount he could send, so he could send 3 marches out or 2 marches.
Now is it
out.
pretty much the same whatever level? It just difficulty. There's no new mechanics or anything as you get higher.
No, it's basic strength. It's just basic squad power that you're needing, and then the infected units in there. Like that'll change, of course, on like the level of the difficulty of the plague zone, but there's no mechanics that are different, really.
I've been denied by plague zones where it's like you send a march out and they're like, oh, you didn't do it, bummer. Like you were defeated. I've never tried to be like, oh, what if I send more infantry or more riders to it? So I've never tested that actually, because typically I just do equalize. If my equalize isn't strong enough, then I'm not doing a plague zone that's like that I should be doing. You know what I mean? So usually I'll just kind of decrease the level of the plague zone that I'm doing in order to kind of maximize that. luckily at this point, I'm at the point where it's like I can just do equalize as long as I'm sending heroes in with that march. I'm not strong enough in the new state where I can just send just troops. And like 125, I could just send troops right now and kind of beat a plague zone. But like in the new state, I can't do it. So but I've never tested out to be like, oh yeah, if I just send heavy infantry, I can actually overpower it or something like that. That's interesting to try and check.
So look at these jerks. They went ahead and killed this whole plague zone without me. Like I'm trying to show it on screen, and they killed it all.
Hey, snooze, you lose.
I'm gonna have to start another one now. So
Thanks for the plague.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you got yourself on the banner.
Mm-hmm.
The banner
You did
that
get a
blocks
banner.
my stuff. That blocks the
Yeah, but now it's your own name. So how do you feel? You're blocking your own stuff.
I feel like I always do. I'm mad at myself mostly with stuff happening.
Explorer mission, her Explorer mission, like creative or like her like animation's pretty cool because she's literally like 2 6 guns, like. I feel like that's okay.
Jane?
But yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen that.
I just
You just pulled it up. All right, Finn, I'm doing a 20 so that we can.
I just started spending my.
Oh, come on!
stamina.
You can spend your stamina for this.
No, I don't have. I'm low on stamina now. I'm 100%
man.
leeching on stream. I'm leeching on stream.
This is every day
ruined.
in AC chat, guys. This is him with this breakdown all the time. It's exhausting. So, okay, so like now when I click on this, you can see there's the 4. If there was any more, it would be off to the side, but they wouldn't be flashing. So we're going to take one of these down. After I'm going to let all the guys take these down because they're like killers and they want to just take everything down. So I'm going to let them take them down, and then I'm going to show you guys the, what is it called when we go and hit them and we're fighting them in the...
Attacking?
No. The one-off hits. When we had to knock down their number, like right now their number is 202.
Yeah, the challenges.
The challenges, yeah. That's what it's called.
Lord.
Yuda, TMV, you buying Surgeon Simulator 2 to play with Finn. $2. Yes, actually, I am going to get that. I would like to do that like maybe on a Sunday or something. Just delve in.
Scary.
Do I have enough? Hold on, I have to see now if I have enough dog tags to level up to get myself.
Thank you,
stamina. Hold
Yuta.
on.
You have to make sure you tune in for Surgeon Simulator when I do it.
Sorry, I'm running math now.
Are you seriously? You're going to calculate your math involved?
I have to see if I have the dog tags to level up. Hold on. I have to see if I have the dog tags to level up.
Wow. Deja, you've been awfully quiet, or plague zones bore you to death, don't they? See, Daedric, this is the prime example of why you should join a new state and play a little bit on the side. You're so bored.
Yeah, one of the reasons why Reservoir League was so exciting, and of course it was a total block for everybody because then we realized it was only the first 30 states that got it. So not only does the menu show up for the game globally, but they did not say that it was being beta tested. The understanding is that it was a full rollout. So I'm staring at this Reservoir League, and yet we can't participate. The thing with the game is they need to take the concepts of events and start either recreating or investing into new incentives. It's like when you're at work and you have you introduce a new program, and then the next month you have another new program. You're not constantly repeating stuff year after year. The game is the same way, but in a much shorter span of time. They could take Plague Zone, but people have come up with some really good ideas of having, state bosses versus plague zones, right? You're taking a similar concept, but you're completely reinventing it and giving a fresh new look to it. One of the issues for our states and many others is, Reservoir Raid even becomes boring. So, we were really happy to see Reservoir League because it's a new spin on an event that we were excited about. State Warfare, it was not as exciting as it was meant to be. You're up against a state that's 60 levels higher or below you. You're not going to win the prep stage in a lot of cases. So a lot of people are going into these events, whether it's Plague, whether it's Reservoir, whether it's Capital Clash, and right off the bat what the process is going to look like. You have a pretty good idea whether you're going to win prep, lose prep, win Reservoir Raid, not win it. It's too predictable right now, and that's where a lot of the boring aspect is. And with the new states too, new alliance concepts, but we see the same events. So I could create an account in 359, but it's the same storybook, just different mechanics.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time, you played a different style in 42. So the way that you would change it and make it different is you play a different game style in the new states. So like, try playing free to play. Try playing in a different way, more co-op versus the old style. I think it could be fun again for you. I hate to see you kind of like bored in the old states. I think it would be fun if you tried a whole new system and helped us delve into like how to, like Finn. You and Finn are very much alike with the way you guys think as far as like strategizing things out and planning things out.
I got the guy. Oh, I had the guy stuck on the hay barrel during the thing. Sorry, continue.
I think it would be fun for you to do this. Oh, okay, here we go. Now I got it. So I'm going to challenge. That's what it is. It's the challenge. So.
That's where I think migration is the answer to that.
Yeah.
Do we need to constantly be creating new accounts just to find fun in the game? Or can we get this migration program up and running, give people the option to shift an account they've already invested in and change the play style that way, right? Take an account that's maxed out, or take a dolphin spender and put them in a new situation. They automatically get to change how they play, because they've been given an opportunity to do so. It's just unfortunate for a lot of people that we know who are no longer with us in the game because of this constant account recreation. That's just not. Great point was brought up. I think one of you, it was Finn or someone last week or the week before, going, if you end up in the wrong state, and you find that out 30 days in, going, oh crap, I shouldn't be here, or I don't want to be here, and then you create another account and you go through the same 30-day process, right? It's just that constant repetition. I see what you're saying. It's just not. I don't know.
It's just not for you. I get it. I get what you're saying.
It'd be cool to see someone that was like a true whale, and they were like, you know what, I want to go after Casada, or I want to go after Ardor, or I want to go after one of the big guys in the game. That would be pretty interesting to kind of see, someone try to go after someone else, and really attack the leaderboard in that regard. I think that would be an extra step, and that would just, kind of increase just the involvement of people that have spent so much time in the game, as opposed to just being like, let me go back and see if I can break my record to getting to 30. There is some excitement in that. I'm actually kind of doing that in the new state to see, how much faster or how streamlined I can get, not spending on things that I spent in my original account.
Yeah.
Being like, well, I've realized that this was a complete, mistake. I've actually even sent in something, and I put it in actually the survey. It was, the game will allow you to buy things that you don't need. So, just for like, for instance, hero gear. There's a certain amount of hero gear pieces that you need. But if you just go through custom crates, you could buy and overbuy things more than you could do to be max, which is...
More than you would ever use, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It's impossible to, the game doesn't stop you from continually buying the wrong thing. Like, hey, you actually only need 2,400 pieces and you've got 4,800. So you just don't money to the game that you didn't at all. Yeah. Or if you're continually buying the daily deal and you've already got your guy at Colonel, or you already have the frags at Colonel, and you just don't realize that you have enough frags on hand already. All those extra frags that you bought, are just gone. So it's just done.
So you're in this new state, you're using it to maximize, like figure out how to build more strategically, like
basically to kind of like say, all right,
this is the best build.
In 125 that I did, that is completely, it's just basically it's backpack decorations, because I didn't know any better, in the beginning of, okay, I'm going to go ahead and buy things that I can't actually get for free in game, so then it was like, I'll concentrate on this. And then it was like, it's gotta stop you, right? Like they wouldn't just let you do that.
Oh,
and
they
then
will.
So the next thing you know, you look and you're like, wow, I've got so many Chief Gear tactical maps that I will never use, that cost and just a crazy amount of money to get, that I'll just be like, now it's just, and I can't do anything with it,
Well,
Yeah, and
go ahead, David.
yeah, it's inconsistent too, because you go from state to state, and when they release things is not even the same. So to your point, Delete, when I started in 42, it took 6 months, 7 months for promotions to start being released.
Right.
Like we didn't have a single custom crate, promo deal, discount, whatever until 6-7 months in. So all we had all the time were either the holiday events like Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. Hey, Matt.
Hello, everybody.
Is that your Tennessee vacation voice?
That's it. Fresh from Dollywood.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, was that your better half there?
That's my regular better half, not my camping one. My camping worse half.
So yeah, we didn't have access to any of the bundles, and then all of a sudden you start in a new state and you're getting them a month in.
Yeah.
So, part of the frustration with that is, I understand a part of it is King's Group had enough foothold in the game that they started to actually build a strategy for themselves as to how they were releasing products in the game. Because obviously, you're not going to do discounts right when you start a game, but the fact that people in older states, we were actually taken advantage of. People in states 1 to 200 and something, I think 225 or close to 240, have easily, and I'm talking dolphin whale spenders, have easily put 5,000-10,000 in more than they needed to because of when promotions were released, how the packages are structured, how we're buying. Delete, fair point. Like I have 6,000 Chief tactical maps. Like that's like, it's just insane, and it costs $675 for a legendary piece. Like I have enough to do legendary ×3 with the amount of tactical maps I have. Like it's just absolutely,
give me.
It's absolutely obscene, right? But if we were to trade in, like let's go into your backpack for an older state player. If you were to trade in all the obsolete items you have, what's the dollar figure on that?
Yeah.
Right. Like that, it's just insane.
Why can't they just make it where you can trade those in for gems? Or biocaps.
Yeah.
Like get a biocap return or something.
Yeah.
Or trade it in for stuff that you are missing. Turn it into hero gear.
Like actually have a market that actually trades things, not just res, but you can actually trade in items would be fantastic.
Yeah, and they'd have to make it biased. Like you'd have to pay an obscene amount of tactical maps to get this particular product. But I'd rather do that than sit on, 6,000 Chief tactical maps. Like here's the thing: if I could take 6,000 maps and turn it into a piece of hero gear, no problem. Right. Like I'd happily trade in that many maps just for a single piece of hero gear, as an example, right? And going back to Plague Zone rewards. For free-to-play players, the rewards are always going to be beneficial. But again, for older states and people who have really grinded the game, you're at a point now where the only thing you're benefiting from is Chief gear pieces if you haven't maxed out. Alliance coins, both gold and silver. Everything else, though, is just useless. So that, part of that boredom and lack of interest in a lot of these events is once you hit a certain point, it's just not exciting anymore. The other game I'm playing right now, Rise of Kingdoms, which I've mentioned many times before, such a fresh perspective on that game every single month. Like, that's probably one of the best games. It's by Lilith Games is the developer. Probably one of the freshest perspectives I've ever seen from a developer in a game. And
wow.
Constant content turnover. Like it's a new event every single month. You're never experiencing the same thing month to month. Events are, fresh and new, and the Kingdom versus Kingdom is absolutely insane. Like, the map is like 12 times the size of State of Survival. You've got 6 kingdoms in one competing. Like, it's just absolutely nuts. And, I understand there's a limit to Kingscourt versus Lilith because the dev companies themselves are quite different sizes. But it's just that point of fresh content. Like, what are we doing differently? And Delete mentioned the survey that they just did. They're optimizing graphics. Okay, great. But migration and in-game events. We're not really concerned about in-game graphics right now. That's the least of concern, in my opinion, at least.
Oh, you mean from like the survey?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a point of contention against migration for them, because they don't want to be stuck in the crosshairs of being like, okay, say I spent $30,000 on my account and I'm maxed out and I'm playing it, and I move to a new state where that person has got the exact same account that I do, but they've only spent 15. Does that give me a gripe to go ahead and say, hey, yeah, I moved, but there's a huge difference in dollar amount that I've spent than he's spent, to actually say, this is where we're at, even though we're equal. Does that open up any doors against them legally? Because that's, it's a very slippery slope in that regard. At least in your own state, everyone's been exposed to the same thing. Once you start going to a new state, everyone's doing something different. I do like the fact that in SOS, there is, or potentially could be, an end to spending. Because you could just buy everything you need. You could just max out your account. There is a max. If there's continual, opening of new things, there is no max. Now there's just a level of expectation of your spend consistently coming. Like a Swaga, where it's like new heroes are coming out. You need to continually buy new heroes in order to stay on the cutting edge of the game, or else you kind of fall further and further and further back, as more time comes. So then it lessens the value of the money that you have spent. In SOS, at least, it's like once you're a max out account, the lessening really comes in the fact that like everyone else can just catch up to you. That's it. But you don't necessarily lose any value of what you've already put in, because everyone.
Yeah, and that's the thing too that I'm seeing. That's why there was such a great, for me specifically, but a lot of other people too in Sticky's Discord and SOS Discord regarding, new plasma and new heroes and stuff. To your point, Delete, going, they're opening doors where if you are a max account, a month from now, you're not max account anymore. So, the issue with this strategy is, how much money do you have? Because at the end of the day, it's actually not account maintenance. When you talk account maintenance in a game, that's just referring to, little top-ups here and there, whether it's, a new frame comes out or a new skin. When we talk new plasma and new heroes, and you've got all these holiday events and you have to hit top 10 to get the permanent skin, that it's such a money drain when you're looking at it long term, because we had a couple players who disappeared for 2-3 months. They had really great accounts when the state was brand new. They come back 60 days later and they are so weak, it's unbelievable in comparison. And only a month, 2 months have passed, and we're talking something as simple as somebody having 5 more headquarter skins than the other guy. The other guy has an identical account, but he didn't hit top 10 in, some skin events. All of a sudden, that minute difference has caused a gap in obviously rally power and things of that nature. But again, with new heroes constantly being introduced, how far is that going to go? Are we going to have 50 heroes at the end of the day, 100 heroes at the end of the day? How many legendary heroes am I expected to max out? Are they constantly going to be better than the previous generation? Well, the expectation is yes, because if you're releasing a new generation, to have somebody hungry to max it out, it has to be better in some way. Jarrett, great example. Jared does not have the same stats as Miho. He actually has lower stats than Miho, but his skill set is far better. So you lose 15% on attack and defense, but the skills absolutely crush, that percentile difference. But, how many times am I going to do that?
Right. Especially if you're in a state where people have basically just started to disappear. How much do you actually anyway? Yeah. And then there was also the thing of basically, like, if you were not on your account for 7 days and you came back in, you opened yourself up to a brand new set of packages and bundles that far exceeded anyone that was consistently playing, which is also kind of unfair, because then it's like, now people are like, you know what, I'll see you guys in a week because I want to go ahead and open up those bundles and go ahead and max out my Zoe at a fraction of the cost. Now everyone's, that's the case. And again, now you're opening up for people that have spent loyally, for people that haven't spent and can catch up, just to kind of get further involvement in the game. And that, that's not necessarily fair to the people that have spent, just like you said, originally it was just like, a custom package or the new Chief Gear box that has every piece of Chief Gear that you need in one set, neat package, which is already available in the state that I'm in, the new state. I was just like, it took us forever to get this, like I would already be there, like it would have been there much earlier if I had this, and so on and so forth. It was, it sucks. I mean, it's tough to come up with just if this was my company, it's tough to come up with the perfect way to do things right off the bat, and nobody's perfect. But there are enough games out there in the genre that you can literally just play and see, like, okay, let's make this game, but do it this way because this will optimize the scenario in that regard. Durgan, how do you feel about that?
Well, where do I begin?
Durgan's too busy arguing with Ranger in stream chat. He's not even paying attention to us. I have a
I mean, I don't know. The game for me is. I mean, I'm guessing this is y'all's like main game, so it's more. I play just very casually. I know Finity. I started a little after Finity, but Finity's a lot more focused than I am. So, it's. I just kind of play to interact with everybody and have fun, and it's very casual for me. So.
Yeah.
So, question for like Durgan and Finn. I mean, you guys are both playing basically free to play because this was supposed to be our free to play experimental server, but Delete and I have no willpower, so we didn't go free to play. Although I have only spent a very, very, very little under Dolphin. So, is this game still worth it as a free to play player? I saw somebody else in chat said I think it was ASDF said you can't be competitive as a free to play in this game. I honestly beg to differ because we have Mako in our Alliance M125 who is free to play. He spent $4.99 in this game only for the initial builder, second builder, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the only money I've spent. I bought that, and that's it. It's because I'm not going to probably ever be super involved like y'all have been, so it doesn't. I just kind of play it, log in, have fun with everybody, and I'm not in a super big rush to like I got to get to the max of this and the max of that, and
You're just playing it and chilling and having a good time.
Yeah, it's a side game for me to play and interact with everybody, have fun. So
yeah, and you are the fun one in the game. But my question is, do you think, well, Finity, do you think eventually you'll be able to be competitive as a free-to-play if you're hyper-focused in it?
It's honestly kind of hard for me to say because I don't know how it scales up at the higher end. I can see discrepancies even when we were leveling up, right? I could see the discrepancies between those that spend, those that do not. I think the experience would be very different based on a lot of there's a lot of circumstances because this is a PvP game that changes whether or not as a free to play you can be competitive, right? The adherence to what I have now learned as common state rules, right, is one of the biggest things. If you're in a state where somebody just wants to wipe out the lower ones, as a free to play, you're done. It's just over, right? You're going to get picked on. You're going to get zeroed. You're not going to be able to progress. Like, it's done. So you have to be in a state that does have some semblance of adherence to the general state rules. So that would be kind of the first big thing. The second thing would be also you need to be in an alliance that, and I'm classifying new player as well with free-to-play player in this one. You need to be in an alliance that has some experience. Because if you're in a alliance with just a bunch of new players, I can tell you right now, because I had so many questions when I first started, that if you guys were not here to answer those questions, it would be an alliance that's just floundering, just repeatedly floundering, like not sure what strategies are, not sure what I'm supposed to do. I wouldn't even have understood exactly what like survival of the fittest is. Like all of these things that really make this game, and I'll put it in context. I see the people saying it in chat. I have tried to be as close to competitive as a free-to-play as possible with this so far, right? And I'm trying to keep up with like Delete and Zoltan, who are like our bigger spenders, right? In this, and they're at HQ 26, and they've been there for a little while. I just hit 24, so I'm trying to keep up pace a little bit, right? I'm not gonna be able to keep up exactly, but I'm trying to keep up pace. And I can try. I can see that gap maybe increasing a little bit depending on what else is to come. And because I don't really know what's in the future, I can't say for sure that a free-to-play would be able to compete. As it stands right now, I think I can compete with a lot of people on our state, right? I would say in our state, there's a few alliances that have the very heavy spenders, right? And there's no way I'd be able to touch them. They're already like 26s and higher, and I know my limitations against that. But in looking around the state, because I often just like, I have nothing else to do. So I just kind of take my map and click around and look around and like trace different alliances and where they're building towers. And because I had no idea what the hell towers were and what they're supposed to do. So I've been trying to learn that since I've become an R4. It's like, oh, that's what they're supposed to. Okay, so let me see how other people are strategizing. But as I've been looking at that, right, what I've noticed is that a lot of other alliances are much lower. And they might have like one person that's 22, but like the rest of their alliance is like 15. And I've seen some of them when it's active in like Trap, for example. I see that a bunch of them are at least active during Trap. It's just they're not progressing as fast. And I think a lot of that is because I'm in alliance with you guys. It makes things a little bit easier, not just for the perspective of the experience, right? But I'm not going to also neglect all the extra boxes that come into my mail when I wake up, because you guys are buying certain things in the game, and I get these like special ally boxes in there that I have to claim additional resources for me, right? And then we get like different state intels, and sometimes the state intels are based on like your alliance. Sometimes they're full state, but sometimes they're alliance based. And when they're alliance based, sometimes there are like spend X amount of stuff over the time, and it's like I'm only going to be able to spend only so many bios, right? If it's bio caps, like I can only spend so many bios. I'm trying to collect, I can spend them, right? But I'm limited. So I would say in my current stage where I am, the answer would be yes. A free-to-play can keep up, but there are some conditions that would need to be in place. Beyond where I am, I just don't have the knowledge to really comment on it. I would hope so. So far, I feels like at least I'm able to keep up some kind of pace, and the only ones that I'm not able to are like the spenders. And if that's who I'm falling behind, if I can go ahead of like small time spenders and like free to play, which is largely going to be the majority, right? And I'm just behind the spenders. I feel like I'm in the relative position that I should be as a mildly obsessive free-to-play player that constantly looks at his timers. So in that case, and I would say hopefully yes, I would hope that we can. Depends on your definition of competitive though, right? Like even if I was competitive at this level and we got to the point that you guys are at 125, right? If Delete wanted to zero me, he would zero me, right? I wouldn't really have much of an option. I would try to keep up. I could be beneficial to the alliance, but I would still be zeroed by Delete if I wanted to, and like 125 if I had scaled up to that level. So there's obviously restrictions, but I still think you could be competitive in an alliance because not everyone is going to be mega spenders. So you're going to need that distribution. And I would be hopefully towards the upper half of that, which I would consider competitive.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head because you can come into this game and if you don't actually research this game and you just start playing, you will get absolutely nowhere fast. You know, you won't put in the time that you need. You won't do the research that you need. You won't do the things that are necessary to progress your account at a rapid level or even just a consistent level without question. And you will, and I've seen it, you know, even in the new state, I've seen, you know, level 30s that I can crush because they haven't concentrated on their research and they're really just concentrating on their HQ level, you know, which really doesn't help you that much if your research isn't on par with your HQ, you know. So a 27 can beat a 30, you know, but the gap does start to widen really big, you know, especially when you start getting into legendary heroes versus purple heroes, you know, because then you're in trouble, you know, and a top level spender can absolutely make your life miserable in a game in this game without question. They could just completely you know what, they'll just shut down this entire alliance until you change names, port away so they can't find you, and restart all over. And that's a big investment in just time and effort to go ahead and do that, because you can have someone just absolutely come in and crush you if you let your shield down without question.
So when I did a video recently with a guy named Echo. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but it was just a quick beginner's top 10 tips kind of thing. And my first tip was decide what your play style is and manage your expectations based on that. So your play style is either I want to be number one and I want to be top dog with the massive amounts of kills. I want to be top and super competitive, or do I want to be a contributing team player, but I want to be free to play? Either you want to be a spender or you want to be free to play, or you want to be somewhere in the middle. But when you learn what you're going to be, then you adapt and you find the alliance that fits into that. If you're a free to play player, you want to get into an alliance with at least one spender, because you're going to be joining their rallies. You're going to be joining, you know, with their heroes. You're going to be getting their reinforcements from their heroes. You're going to be getting the packs from the spending. You know, if you're going to be free to play, as like Finn is, you have to be hyper focused, number one, but you also need to be in an alliance that has a spender in it. Like Delete said, you need to have that balance, because you are not to be competitive. Let me rephrase that. You can be in a smaller alliance and just play for fun, but if you want to be competitive, I know a lot of people are like, you can't be competitive. Well, you can, because we have Mako in our alliance who's very competitive, and he wins a lot of events. He is in top 10 in a lot of events. Definitely Capital Clash. He's the one with the badge holders. He's doing well, but he's doing well because he is in alliance with Delete. And he's doing well because he's super hyper focused. So you can be competitive, but you have to have those two things going for you. And if you don't have those two things, no, you're not going to be competitive. And somebody said something about he's going to get wiped by a spender. Actually, he wouldn't. There's a lot of dolphin spenders that could not wipe him at all. They wouldn't take him because he's so hyper focused, and he built correctly. He researched and he listens to advice. So he built his stuff very well to where he is stronger than a lot of the dolphin players that are spending money willy-nilly. So you can be, I think, like Finn said, there's conditions to it. You have to be smart with it. So
yeah, my play style is, like I said, it's probably totally different from y'all's. I just play it as a casual side game to have fun. Like I'm not worried about being competitive. I mean, the PvP's not even my like thing. It's just I know some of the people from RSG. I just play it to play something with them and have fun. I'm not like worried about. I don't go out of my way to attack people. I log in, I play, I do the rallies, I do the stuff to help out. But that's just my play style. I'm not worried about getting number one or getting all that stuff. So
Delete. Is Mako, will you do me a favor and check 125 and tell me what star Mako is if he's just a 30? I know he's well over 30. I know, because somebody's saying, oh, there aren't any free to play 3 stars yet.
We've got 3. Neptune,
yeah, there are. He's really so.
We've got. I mean, we're pretty far along. And if you're going to be free to play, you got to be on. And some of the players, I have learned a lot from our free to play players, because as a free to play player, you have to dissect this game tremendously in order to maximize and get to that level. So you have to know how to go ahead and maximize your gathering, know how to go ahead and get through your dailies without like crushing your own army, know how to build your army so that you don't get crushed, know how to join rallies so you don't get booted from rallies, for joining with infantry with trap and hey, I've got to go ahead and drop someone from our rally. We're going against a tougher opponent. I'm not going to drop someone that's got their skill levels right and the joining heroes right, so they increase my maximum damage. The free to play players who join rallies are actually pretty strong, because they figured out I can only invest in one hero, and this is my hero. I'm going to make it the captain. So this way, when Delete's looking through people to scroll through to go ahead and say, all right, I got to boot someone that's really not that strong, I'm not going to boot them because they've got everything correct.
Well,
so that.
You know what Mako does in our alliance? He hyper focused on a hero that not a lot of people were using in traps that he knew we would need. So we weren't using Chef. His Chef is really good for traps, because he knew that not everybody else was going for Sarge or Eva or whoever they were going for. He hyper focused on Chef because he did the research. So it is difficult to get as good as somebody like him. Like Finn will be that way. Finn has already taught us things in the game that we did not even know. Like Fury's even said it. It's just some of this stuff that Finn is bringing up, I had no idea about. So you have to have somebody that's really doing a lot of research. And this whole thing, it says Plasma 3 taking more than 400 days as a free-to-play player. I don't think so, unless you're not doing the other stuff, because Mako has pointed out, he saves up for the Plasma trade-in thing. He saves and saves, then brings that over so that he gets the ultimate Plasma trade-in. So you can do that if you're really focused. So
Mako is not a Plasma, but he's soon to be. He's right there.
Yeah, and we've only been playing, 200 and something?
We are... Why is it telling me what time it is? What time of night?
Munchie knows. 366 days if only using Intel Plasma.
366 days for what? To train?
To get all your Plasma upgraded, all your buildings upgraded. God.
We are day 199.
Oh, come on, Durgan. You played Swaga for how many years?
But I didn't have to wait a year to get a few troops.
I mean, does that include all the buffs and stuff?
No,
or
that's
is that just straight up?
Only using Intel to collect your Plasma.
Right.
You get Plasma with Intel, but there's other things that you can get Plasma with. So, yeah, you can get it every 20 Plasma every 2 weeks from lab.
Is there a point in the game that everybody, when you hit that max level, that everybody's equal, or is there always something to put you ahead of somebody else?
There's always going to be new heroes coming out that are better. Jarrett just came out not too long ago. Jarrett is better than the newer heroes. So
there's not a point where everybody's troops, bases, everything's just all the same.
No.
There's always something to put you ahead of somebody else.
No, there's not. However, there will always be somebody ahead of you. However, if you have that person in your alliance that is always ahead of everybody because they're buying that stuff, it doesn't matter for you as a joiner in that alliance. Does that make sense? Because their heroes' stats can come into yours. You will be joining their rallies. So, it does matter, of course, but you still can get the benefits from that person. That's why I said it's important for you to join an alliance with a spender in it if you want to be competitive. Go ahead, Daedra.
I was just going to say, too, I think, Durgan, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're phrasing the question in such a way, the example I was providing earlier where the game is constantly releasing new content to purchase, so you're never actually maxed out.
Yeah.
You could have a maxed account today, 7 days from now you won't, because a new hero came out. But the thing is you don't buy that new hero, and the guy next to you in Alliance number 2 buys it. Now all of a sudden he's got he's got a stronger account than you do, right? So it's very inconsistent, and we do know that Plasma 4 and 5 is coming out. The game accidentally released the info on the buildings in game, showing how much plasma it would cost to get to 4 and 5, and they didn't mean to do that, but they did. So people actually got to see how much plasma it would cost to get to Plasma 4 for all the buildings. And impossible for a free to play to ever compete. So what ASDF said earlier, there is a lot of truth to that, because at the end of the day, when you're speaking long term, so short term, can a free to play compete and be hyper focused? Yes. Long term, as the state gets older, not a chance in hell, because the more content that gets released, as people continue to buy, the gap in percentages, the gap in stats, the gap in equipment and content is just so wide.
I disagree. You're saying terms of PvP, one person versus one person. That's what you're saying. No,
I'm talking because this game is alliance based, right? So you can have an imbalance at any time. I talk with Red Rocket a lot and a few other guys from some of the states who have really competitive capital clashes. You can easily have an imbalance of accounts. We're talking about a utopia world where, you have a spender in your alliance. Well, if you don't, or that alliance has 5 more whales than you do, or this alliance has 3 more krakens than you do, we're talking an imbalance of power. Like the state can never have a consistent competitive field, because it can become imbalanced at any moment in time. The moment a merge happens with one alliance to another, you have a power imbalance. The moment you have a spender leave an alliance and go join another one with 10 other spenders, you have a power imbalance. State 42, we have a huge power imbalance. It's massive, absolutely massive. So state 35, same thing, massive power imbalance. State 53, massive power imbalance. So there's a lot of places where, whether it's intentional or not, it's going to happen, because as people keep buying new content, you continue to widen the gap. So all the free-to-play players can do, they can be competitive solo with another free-to-play player, but they're never going to be a rally leader, ever. All they're going to do is joining rallies. So, when you talk about being competitive, to be a rally leader, to be a primary go-getter, you have to spend. Absolutely have to spend. Unless you're just competing with other free-to-play players, but that's very rare in games like these.
Yeah, but I can see that too, right? Even right now, I'm a rally leader when we do trap, but I think it's just because we don't have a lot of spenders, right? But ideally, we would have our spenders always being that, because they are just farther ahead along, right? And even that little gap as it is right now, 26 to 23, 24, where I am, right? That's enough to make a difference. I mean, I can see what Daedric is saying, where the free-to-play is going to be competitive in the perspective of a joiner, but if you're defining competitive as being the alpha dog in an alliance, you're not going to be able to do that as free-to-play. Free-to-play is not going to be an alpha dog in any game if there is the option of spending in order to get more powerful.
Expectations about what you're talking about when you say competitive.
Yeah.
I agree, Finn. Not competitive as far as being like, am I going to be a Daedric here? No. Am I going to be able to hold my own in events and possibly get top 10 in survival fittest if I plan correctly? Yes, you can still do that as a free-to-play. Finn is doing that right now as a free-to-play with the massive whales in our state. So I agree. I understand where Daedric's coming from, but at the same time, I still disagree in some aspects. It depends on what your definition of competitive is. If competitive means I'm at the top of the kills board, no, you're not going to do that. If competitive means I'm having fun playing in this game and my alliance just hit Plague Zone number 1, or my alliance can do this and in Reservoir League, whatever that comes out, my alliance at the level we're at is doing well, or we just beat this trap and I got number 5 in trap rewards, yes, you can still be competitive. I still think you can as a free-to-play player.
Yeah, and I think too, it's how they're categorizing it in the game, and we talk about Capital Clash matchups across State Warfare, Reservoir Raid, Alliance Showdown, where the matching system right now is screwed to all hell. If we get to a situation where people are properly matched, you can now have free-to-play alliances properly matched with other free-to-play alliances to a degree, right? There's going to be some imbalance because you can't always guarantee there's not going to be a spender or going to be a spender. You're going to have some discrepancies. But the matching system right now as it stands, cross-state and all the events they have set up, does not allow for competition. It's so imbalanced. Because you can, for example, for a Reservoir Raid, there's actually a strategy where the less people you register with, the lower your reservoir score, which means I could go in with 10 whales and we could have a score of 6,000, come up to another alliance with a score of 6,000. They have 30 people, but they're a free-to-play alliance. So we wipe them out in 10 minutes, right? There has to be a system that's introduced where the matching system allows for what you're talking about, Venom, to be implemented across the game, not just in states, but across the game for cross-game competition. That's another demoralizer for a lot of individuals going, every 2 weeks, hey, I'm so excited I get to have a Reservoir Raid, because they're spending time with family all week. The only time they have to play the game is on the weekend. Well, all of a sudden they come up to an alliance that has 3 max accounts, but the Reservoir Raid score is the same. Like, how are you supposed to
it's totally not fun either to go up against a max players in Reservoir Raid when you're like all pumped for it. Like, man, yeah.
Our event that is over in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there collecting 750,000 water by the time you're done, and your enemy has 5,000 water. Like, it's just absolutely demoralizing hour of your day.
Yeah.
But on both sides, like, it's not even fun for the person who wins, who has to sit there for 55 minutes and do nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's the matching system is very, very important in the game. And Finn, actually, great point. Finn had an awesome point when he was making ideas or suggesting ideas on migration with the alliance queue. Because one of the great benefits I see with the alliance queue, as he was talking about, is you can go into a state and have similar alliances of, power or, numbers of people. So you're not going in and getting absolutely erased in the first week of being there. It's a competitive state. So that, like, I really like that idea and trying to implement that across the game.
Guys, a new gift code up. Here's the second gift code. I was going to wait a little bit, but I saw a couple people say, they came in and they're watching faithfully, but they might have to go a little earlier. And they said the other ones the chances are already gone for the first gift code. Like, I wish I knew the number of how many there are. I can't get them to give me the exact number, but it's already gone. So this is the second one, is not McVenom. So the devs were watching the last stream, you guys, when it was Finity/not McVenom, because they gave us these codes. So they watched the streams. The devs were watching, and they gave me these codes for that. So it was interesting. Finity and then not McVenom. So that's your new code. That one's worth a 1K and 2 advanced searches. So please do not share it in Discord, guys. It's for the stream only. There's only a limited number of codes. So let's let everybody get to it here that is watching. So I wanted to share real quickly before we get on to other chat, just the Plague Zone Challenge rewards. I haven't collected them yet, but so we did a 19?
Yeah.
Is that the 19 or the 20? We did you did a 19 first, then we did a 20. So.
I can't remember. I didn't collect any, so this must have been the 19, and then the 20 was going to be up here.
I feel like I've gotten more Maddie shards than Jane. Like, it's
really.
So, I mean, so it's like they don't get better rewards. Is 20 the highest? Is that?
It goes
Right
up
now.
Oh
for
no,
us.
it goes up
It goes
high.
higher.
What is it?
So, and it's still Jane Shards at
30?
the highest.
I
We are
think you can search up to 30, but our state right now is capped at 20.
You keep muting out, delete. We can't hear you. What did
Oh.
you say? We go up to 30 though, right?
we are 29 and 125. 30 hasn't been released.
Oh, you guys still don't have 30 and 125?
Yeah.
Holy crap. What's the kind of the youngest state that has 30 right now if 125 doesn't have it? Like Daedric, do you have it on like 42?
Yep.
Okay. So somewhere between 42 and 125. Okay, we've narrowed it down. Now we need to get people in chat to tell us if they have it and what state. If you're between states 42 and 125, do you have Plague Zone 30s? That is the question. We will narrow this down. We will figure it out.
So I mean, the higher it is, you're really just going for the stuff besides Jane. It's all the resources and everything.
Sean says they have 30 and 96.
Okay, so we're between 96 and 125. Okay, we're narrowing it down. 115 has it. So that means 125 is probably getting close. You're between 115 and 125. Okay, see, chat is awesome. See, they are a valuable resource for research.
I saw Restoration asking who was on the panel and what states they were from. So if you guys are new, so Finn is from 359. He's new. Durgan is also new. He's 359. So we're trying to have a diverse panel here, and we have guests that are like from all different states and all different levels of play because we really want all different input into this game. Free to play, spenders, new, older players. Daedric is our oldest player, not in age, but in terms of game. He is in from state 42. Daedric is also the number one killer in the game, has the highest kill score in the whole game. Daedric does. What is it at now, Daedric?
1.85 billion. I am going to try and get 2 billion in this state warfare right now.
I'm going to break 2 billion.
Jesus.
Delete and I are both in state 125 and also in 359. So that's where our stuff is from. Occasionally we'll have guests from all other states. I think Fury is with Daedric in 42. Ducky, she's in what, 115, I think. So we've had them from all over. We've also had Sticky. Who is he? State 11?
Yeah. Sticky, Nemke was on.
Yeah,
both from
Sticky was in 11. Nimke was on. He's from 11. I don't know that we've had anybody, and Scorn, of course. Scorn is state 10. Scorn is our oldest, but Scorn is now moved on from SOS. So occasionally we might bring him in here for some reunions, or occasionally we're going to do some non-SOS focused streams, just some fun, silly us game night streams. And Scorn might join us for those. But yeah, he was state 10. So I think he was our oldest before.
Yeah.
And then Silver Wolf was state 20. I can't believe now that they're not here, I get their states right. What the heck?
Oh, to put Daedric's kills in perspective, in state 125, the leading person with kills is 178 million.
Well, no, Daedric, who is the closest
Just
to
a little
you?
gap there.
Who's the closest to you in kills?
It's Big Bad Wolf right now. He's been fighting with Lupo.
Yeah.
He's Big Bad Wolf's about to break 1 billion.
Yeah.
But as Delete mentioned, the amount of troops and rallies you are required to go through to get that amount of kills is insane. Like I commend Lupo and Bad Wolf for the amount of rallies and soloing they would have had to do. It's not an easy process at all, and it's very time consuming.
Yeah.
Those kills, is that from like everything in the game, or is that just strictly from other players?
No, other players.
Yeah.
Other players only.
So that doesn't count like all the raids and all that stuff. That's just strictly players.
Yeah, does Reservoir Raid count? Because everyone
No.
gets... Yeah.
No.
I think it's
Wow,
just a capital.
Wow.
It's,
Yeah, so like confirmed, the thing with the game, and people forget this a lot, the game does not register like because you have lightly wounded, heavily wounded, and killed. The game registers your kill count based off of the heavily wounded and killed columns. The lightly wounded is not incorporated into that.
Yeah. And Restoration said, yeah, Capital Clash kills count because that's within your state. That's against your state. So, even in SVS kills count too. But I don't know anything else.
A lot of PvP there.
I wonder if you attack. What if you're just building like T1s in your farm and you just start milking that to death, Daedric? I mean, even then, that's still a process that would just take you astronomical amount of time.
Well, the thing I said to Venom, and this has actually been my philosophy for every game. I have never in my life, in any game I've played, ever had an alternate account. Ever.
Wow.
Yeah, I always have a main, and that's it.
I don't like alts either. I don't play with an alt right now. I think I picked up one alt from somebody that quit, and I gave it away almost within a month of owning it because I can't even deal with alts.
I actually use purely for SVS, if anything, because then it's like I have nothing. I have every hero I have is at Colonel, so I can't. And every building I have is completely maxed out, so there's nothing I can do. So in SVS, I'll kind of like work on my alt, but it's still my alt it's crazy. I don't even think it's my alt to 20 because I spend 0 time on it.
30 is the highest on everything right now.
Yeah, so it's 30, and then you go to 3 plasma, so it's technically 33 if you really want to look at it that way, because you have 3 versions of HQ upgrade that you can do, and then you have 3 versions of your barracks for each troop type and hero precinct, and that maxes out your base for right now.
Munchie said making minis for SVS is fun to troll the other state with. Munchie is freaking hilarious. This chick cracks me up so much in 359. She's amazing. Munchie, what state are you in?
What is a mini?
It's alt, like your mini me thing.
We call them farm.
I don't know what state she's in, like her main. I can't remember. Yeah,
it's
and then
of alt.
Yeah.
Also, like, delete it, and get rid of it. It was like I did one for the other one just to kind of see, and I was like, oh, I got an idea. Let me go ahead and try and get the stats of a much bigger base by sending a recon. But unfortunately, until you're at a certain level, you can't recon a base that. And if you send a march out, you have T1. All your troops just get decimated. You don't even get the report.
Yeah.
So unless you just want to troll and state chat and be like, hey, I think you should be worried about this guy. There's really nothing, or gal. There's really nothing that you can really do in a new state by creating a mini.
Yeah, you get the massacred. Okay, Munchie's in state 115. Yeah. It's other people make the alts for SVS when they go and surround the capital, like 20 rings wide. It's so annoying. Hey, Finn, do my raging McVenom emoji. That's what I feel like whenever I look at those SVS capitals that are like 20 deep.
Well, that's why people can't, you just can't have the conversation of no base hitting at capital. Like, there's no chance in hell somebody is going to willingly sit 20 rings out and not hit you to get a better spot. Just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And to which one's the real McVenom? Which one is the real one?
I told him it really does with me with this shirt on. I just need to, my hair is not purple anymore because I dyed it blue. You guys can't see it. It looks black right now, but it's actually blue. It's just this light. So Finn's got to color it. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
It does look.
There's been a lot of talk.
It's pretty accurate on the left.
It does.
In a bunch of states of hey, maybe we should just throw prep stage, just so we can go ahead and do that same thing. We'll just have everyone in the state park, outside of Capitol and make it impossible for anyone, to get a 15-minute march, make it a 15-minute march to reinforce and so on and so forth. And just completely destroy the tactic of hey, we won prep. Now we're screwed because now we're parked so far out of Capitol, it's ridiculous. But yeah.
Yeah, see, I still have yet to experience the, was it Reservoir, and there's something else, Fortress, I think. See, I hadn't even experienced those yet.
Capital,
So.
yeah.
Capital, is that?
Yeah,
our
ours
capital,
doesn't open for like 11 days in the other state.
and in 359 or Reservoir rate period, you have to be in the top 20 in your state to take part.
Yeah, we're
I
still
think
like
we're 23,
24.
24.
We've been fluctuating between 22 and 24.
And it's because we don't recruit, because we've been like we just take fans from the stream that come in and want to join us, and it's just us, like our group of friends, and then anybody from the fans that want to join 359, we're just like letting them in. We're not really like pulling in power or anything like that. We're just kind of just playing and plugging along. And I kind of like being over 20 rank, because nobody's paying attention to us, so we'll just like sneak on up there eventually.
Yeah,
But
people
it's
just
fun.
feel bad that they're attacking us at this point. Like,
So we can just skate under until we're all built up.
we're all the little kid in the bully group that's like, you're gonna pay for that. Yeah, that's where
We're gonna get it one day.
you when I grow up.
One day.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
we're
feel,
the trolls. Fury's right. We are the trolls of State 359. We go into the AC and just or state chat and just troll the hell out of it with our cheese talks and everything. It's
I
fun.
will say,
It's totally fun.
my base in 359 gets neglected tremendously. It's tough running multiple bases in real life. Just kind of like, the game will take up as much time as you devote to it. You can play all day on this game, or you can play for a half hour, and everything in between, because there is a tremendous amount of things that you can do that you don't have to do, and there's things that you can want to do that you don't have to do, and then there's things that you just do to kind of continue playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I periodically throughout the day just check it randomly, hit something to get it going, and we've got this at this time, and I'm on, so.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Honestly, we have a really good time in 359 just because there's no pressure. We don't really have any rules. We try not to be jerks. But other than that, it's kind of like just play and have a good time. And there's no real pressure to grow. There's no requirement on power growth or anything like that. It's just everybody just having a good time and just enjoying it and having fun in chat, which is what we do.
Yeah.
We basically just have fun in chat and stream and have VCs and just have a good
Durgan,
time.
timestamp this. When McVenom kicks you out of 359, make sure you timestamp this.
Listen, we can have fun and still learn, Finn. We can still learn while we're having
Durgan.
fun.
Durgan, before you leave the state, you need to do a state announcement asking for a girlfriend.
Nice.
Was that the tradition? Is that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's become tradition.
Gotcha.
Finn needs a girlfriend. That was the whole thing. Durgan, as a new player, was there any other questions about Plague Zone that you were kind of you've kind of got it figured out now, or was there any big questions with it?
I kind of understand the basics of it. It's I've done a few, so it's I was just curious. I didn't know if there was further mechanics as you get higher up or anything
It's
extra.
not.
It's just kind of this, yeah.
It's pretty simple. The biggest thing with Plague Zone really is just figuring out what you're supposed to hit. Like, what are you wasting your spam on, and what you should hit and use your spam on as far as which tiles. And then who's setting the rally. Whoever's going to set the rally should be the strongest player so that you guys can join under. There are some issues with Plague Zones as far as etiquette. We're seeing some of that issue in 359 is etiquette on Plague Zone is when you start a Plague Zone, do you have everybody equally spread out and hit things so that not one person is using all of their stamina on this while one person just comes in and grabs a couple and grabs the rewards from the end. So there is some etiquette rules.
Hey, I told everyone that I was leeching before we started, okay? Let it be known that when I asked if people wanted to do Plague Zone 20, I said I would be leeching. I can only do the challenges because we were in the gather event for the survival of the fittest, and I had 0 marches available.
Did I say Finn's name at any point?
I know who you were
The
talking.
defensive person usually speaks
I
up
have
first,
seen
is
this
what I'm
face
saying.
before. I have
No,
seen this
I did
face.
not.
I know those
I
accusatory
actually
eyes
wasn't
right
talking
there.
about you. I was talking about the person we were talking about in Alliance in our leader chat.
It's okay,
So
Fanny. I
there
know, I
you
get
go,
you.
Mr. Defensive.
No, it was you. Which way are you from my screen? You were there. Yeah, there.
Anyway, there is some etiquette breaching that you have to figure out with your alliance, like who's going to set the rally, how many do you have to do. The biggest tip I can give is for you to say when you're joining a plague zone, hey, I have this much stamina, I can hit this, or whoever starts it, how would you like me to hit? Do you want to take most of this? Do you want me to lead? Do you want me to join a rally? Do you want me to just do just talk to your people in AC? It's the ones that start it, don't say a word, and then get really mad afterwards because nobody did what they wanted them to, but they didn't say what they wanted. That's the big problem.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
So when you are leeching, right? If you're leeching and I'm just dragging you across, do you get, what rewards do you get just for being in there? If I solo, like in state 125, I can run through, the entire plague zone by myself. Like I don't have to rally the boss. I can just attack it, and if you're in there, what do you get?
Okay, so I'll be cautious about using the word leeching because I do leech, but by that I mean that I am not able to do anything that requires marches. There's nothing that I can do that requires marches, right? But you have to at least put some points into the plague zone in order to get the reward.
Okay.
So what I have said is that if you guys can clear the zone mobs, the little guys, and if you can do the rallies, I will do the challenges because the challenges don't require marches. I usually have stamina, I just have no marches available, right? So you get little rewards for hitting the zone mobs and beating it, right? You get the resources plus the dog tags. You get the resources for each of the challenges that you do because they do count as victories at the end. You get the rewards for getting the rallies and doing that. So I would only get the rewards from the challenge portion as it comes to the attacks going on in the plague zone, but then I do get the final neutralize bonus. So I do get the thing at the end that gives me the few, it's usually like a couple shards of the Jane shards and some other stuff. So what my Venom was showing on the screen. So as long as I put damage up in the plague zone, then I will get that. But my leeching is different just because I don't have any marches. It's not because of stamina. If you have no stamina, then, and if you go in, I'm pretty sure you get nothing because you haven't put any points at all into the plague zone.
So Finn's basically saying if he robs a bank, it's different from another bank robber because his intentions were for a totally different reason. He was going to
I was
Exactly.
only
poor with
robbing
his
the
bank
cash
money.
register, not the safe.
Got it.
Just the cash register, not the safe.
Understood. Okay.
I've seen people that are just like, you know what, I'm going to start this plague zone just because I want to see my name scroll across the top. And it looks
And they don't do anything. They don't do a thing for it. Like that first one I did tonight. I didn't do a thing. Everybody else hit that whole plague zone and I got my name scrolled
Oh,
across.
that's a good idea. I should try.
I was close to the hero gear, and I had to do like 15 plague zones in a row to get hero gear, my last couple pieces for like a hero gear. And it was just like I got like 15 DMs like, really? Is my game spazzing out, or are you just doing plague zone after plague zone after plague zone? So
I need to figure it out. I think I'm going to look it up because I feel like Mako or Vagabond or somebody in law a long time ago figured out the plague zone breakdown of how many points each thing gets you, the spam spend out, and the ratio of like what's the optimal for everybody to do so that it's equal, or like if you can't do marches, what you need to spend to make it equal from somebody else's spam to spend. I can't remember who did it, but I'm going to find it and I'll put it in the RSG State of Survival server because it was a really cool breakdown if you're into that. Otherwise, we just do it. I mean, I don't know anybody that's really that into plague zones that they're like breaking it. I mean, obviously somebody is, but...
on the plague zones, what level, how far, I guess... base wise, I guess do you have to be your troops? Can you solo something yourself? Like if I'm my base is I think 20, like what level would I be able to solo them myself, or
You
I
mean
mean, obviously
like
you want to.
the bosses?
Yeah, like
No.
the whole plague myself. Like if I wanted to just do it instead of doing the rally, if I just wanted to hit the.
So, well, the thing is it's not so much about your troop power at that point that would be the problem of soloing it by yourself. It's how much stamina you would be using for that. Is it worth it when you can just put it out and share it? I don't know. Delete
Because
might not.
there were definitely situations where, like, in the newer state where it was like, okay, I had to figure out, because I didn't have enough troops, because I was just being reckless and like, I haven't, like, in 125, I really don't attack people as much anymore. I attacked someone today and it was awful. It was 100,000 troop loss.
Such a big
for them.
teddy bear.
Yeah. It was just like, Jesus, so that's why I really don't kind of do that, because I know what kind of time and investment that's going to take for someone to replace. But like in the newer state, when I was doing plague zones, there were definitely scenarios where it was like, wow, I actually didn't defeat that, like I fell back, and it was, so there's you kind of have to test it out, and there's really no penalty besides stamina if you try and do it and you can't, and then it's just very simple. Make sure you share when you start a plague zone. Make sure you share it in your alliance chat so people can kind of, hop on in and help you out.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a scenario where you can be like, I can't do this, and you just have to let the timer run out before you can launch another one, I think.
And that goes back to only, like some people said, only killing the ones you have to. Don't attack every single square. Just the ones that to get to the.
It's not enough advantage to clearing everything.
Right.
Like plague zones that had like multiple minis, which were pretty cool, but see the advantage to doing that.
I think there is a limit though on how much you can solo based on where you are, because I know that when you go into the menace and the matriarch instead of a rally, you can do a straight up attack, but there's a troop power estimate there, and I think on the 20 it's somewhere, what is it, I can't remember now, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of around 15 million or something, if I remember. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That has the power.
Yeah, so it's hard. I don't know if you can solo it where you are, honestly, with like a Plague Zone 20, right? There is a limit, and I think it was somewhere around 11 or 14 when we were running through that it became obvious that soloing it was a lot harder, and you just weren't able to solo it. And at that point, I was a 22, I think, when I was going up. So there is at some point a limitation on your troops as well. Usually stamina is going to be the bigger kind of derailment to being able to solo, but yeah, I think there is a limit that you can solo.
So just one quick thing, Delete had said something about letting the timer out. You can actually leave these. So like I just started this one, and if you ever want to leave, if you see I don't know if y'all can see where, you can't see where I'm clicking, obviously. Does my mouse show up on stream? It probably doesn't, does it?
Nope.
No, I don't think we have it set up for that.
I need to set it up so you can. But
it might actually if you do the mouse on the window.
On what window?
Move it over the 5K player. It should work.
Can you see it?
I think it's. I'm on a delayed stream, so I have to see.
I don't think it does show.
No, it's there. You're moving the mouse around the little leave flag over and over again. Yeah,
all right, that's cool. Okay, yeah. So this is the leave button. You can actually leave one when you don't, like, if you wanted to. You got in over your head. Let's say you got in over your head and you wanted to just leave it. So Durgan, you can play around with that. And then this is one that I need to figure out as far as do you get the stamina back if you fail one, just like in a rally?
I believe you do. I failed one before, and I believe you get it back. I can't remember for sure, though.
Yeah, Affinity would be the king of stamina, so I would have to...
No, you are. Him. You have a lot more stamina than me right now, Durgan.
I know.
His bar is overfilled with stamina.
And carrying a lot of wood.
It's true.
Yeah, it's a burden, but somebody has to.
Somebody has to lug around all that wood.
Just lugging that lumber around.
Lugging the lumber.
I'm gonna make Gare Bear jealous. Let's do some.
Zoltan's in chat. He's my favorite.
It's true.
What?
Yeah. Besides
Zoltan.
delete.
And 359, Zoltan's her favorite. You're
Well,
her favorite in 125.
No, delete's my favorite all around, but Zoltan is like my favorite new person. How about that?
I'm sorry, Zoltan. You got demoted. You now have a
he
condition
knows.
on your favorite.
Listen, Finn, this is not
Sorry,
how we play
Zoltan.
this game. I tell everyone individually they are my favorite, so stop.
There we go.
Restoration, come join 359. It's fun time. Don't be coming in there mansplaining to all of our female leaders, though. You will get booted quick. But do join us and have a good time. It'll be fun if you want to. Guys, I think I'm done for tonight. We're gonna go head over to the after stream and hang out there for a little bit. Guys, do you have anything else we want to go over? Any other questions about the Plague Zone? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty
I'm
simple.
good. So, yeah.
Daedric, anything else that you want to talk about? Daedric Downer?
Nope.
We got one question in.
Oh, I forgot questions.
Nightbot if you.
Yeah, give me a question.
Forgot questions. What kind of...
Finn, this is why you were assigned to Nightbot.
I know, I was.
I mean,
All right, so we had a bunch of like fun questions and stuff, but there was one question that came in that I figured we could answer here. The question was from Azarank, who was in the chat, and he was in. Hold on. Let me see what state he was in. He was in a 400 state, saying he was a noob. So I wanted to say hi to him too, because I'm a noob.
oh,
But he said, how free-to-play friendly is the game, and how big of an issue are the hackers? Meaning, is it even worth it to push in events?
so for the hacker thing, I can say comfortably, from my point of this is from me, I don't feel that that's a big issue with as it is with other games. I don't see it. Now, I do know that there are some people doing things they shouldn't be doing in the game, and there's some issues. However, has it initially affected my game super bad the way I know it has in other games? Like, there's some bad other games that is like nonstop, like it ruins the whole game. I haven't seen that much of it, so I don't know about you guys. Daedric?
No. The only thing that came up was the hospital hack that I've seen, and that's actually the only thing I've seen in my entire 300 days playing the game.
Delete?
Yeah, I mean, I really haven't seen anything besides like, oh yeah, I've got 6 different mobile devices, so I'm going to create 6 different accounts and tap help for my entire alliance on all 6 of those accounts. It just seems unnecessary.
Or like set up programs to do that.
People out there will do it.
Yeah. I mean, I know that there's issues out there. We're not saying that there's not. There's definitely issues. Like in every game, you're going to have somebody who's trying to just skate around and get away with cheating. Because that's some people's play style. That's the only way they play. And whatever.
I haven't seen put like a God mode code in there. And
yeah.
People though.
In some games it is really, really, really bad. But honestly, I haven't. It's not. In all the other games that I've seen that it's really bad, everybody knows it and everybody talks about it all the time because how bad it is. I haven't seen that problem here. Not saying it won't become a problem or it hasn't been in the past. I'm just saying personal experience. I haven't seen that. And as far as free-to-play friendly, it's not the most free-to-play friendly game, as we talked about earlier. However, you can play it free-to-play. You can play it. You just have to set your expectations at a reasonable level to do that if you want to play it that way. You can't come in and say, I'm going to be free to play and also get really disappointed when you're not number 1 in events or when you're getting destroyed. You have to be very resilient. You have to be, just flexible, and you have to make friends if you want to do that. So,
yeah, I think that's the really important thing is finding a good group to play with because it makes the game much better and enjoyable. So if you're just in there and nobody's talking and, if you ask a question and everybody's just like, whatever, just figure it out yourself. It makes it not fun at all. So
you look around in your alliance and you see 16 days not on or 8 days not on, and that's like the closest one. Time to leave.
Yeah. I mean, really, the people in the line, and some of them I knew already, but really, the people in this alliance is one of the biggest reasons I play. If they all quit or left, I'd probably uninstall and do something else. So,
yeah,
it's a big reason why I play it.
And it's fun.
I can
still.
say, at least from the events perspective, free to play can compete, but you can't make it rank 1, right? And actually, I'll say you can make rank 1, but only in the gathering events, because that is the only one where you can't really buy your way to it unless you have like VIP 8 and you get the other march, right? That's the one thing that helps. But for the most part, everything is going to favor the spenders in all of the events. However, I can say I've had a good amount of success in all of the events because my expectation is usually top 50, right? Because top 50 usually gives me something that I think is worth it, which is the 10 frags usually for the event total. And I mean, if I don't think it's going to show up clearly enough, but I can bring up like my survival of the fittest stuff. And if you can see like all the numbers here, except for the first round where I was like 216, because it was the one where it was just like the power sprint, and it's really hard for me to keep up to people that are just spending to just boost all of their buildings and stuff. The rest of these, I was in the top 100, and I mean, that was 67, 74, 7, 41, and I'm currently 17 right now, and I'm rank 44 in total for survival of the fittest right now in the overall. So I can compete. Now, my obviously, again, it's the expectations. I'm not trying to compete for number 1, right? I'm looking into a particular perspective, and mine is always aiming for top 50. I try to maximize where I can. It does require a lot of focus and hoarding, unfortunately, which for a free-to-play means for a long time, it almost feels like you're not progressing as much, right? You're just holding on to a bunch of resources, and you're just trying to wait until the right time to do it. But the payoff is that you get a bunch of rewards afterwards. You get a bunch of biocaps. You can get yourself frags. And I mean, those are the two big things, honestly. And if you save up, you then are able to build yourself up. I don't think I showed McVenom this. There was a round in the previous Ghost paint can thing that required you to spend biocaps. Okay? I don't know if you knew that. There was.
Yeah.
Right?
You got points for biocap spending.
Yes.
You didn't require it. There was another way to do it, though.
There was, but you couldn't like gather or whatever it was fast enough. So biocap spending was a thing. At the time, I had like 60,000 something biocaps, and I spent 40,000 of them. So I ended up getting every single reward from that paint can thing, including that final paint can like 4,000 thing. So I got every single reward from that except for like the final ranking one, because I think I ended up like 80 something, and they gave rewards to the top 50. Do you know what I spent my bios on? Which is just fun. I just have to show you.
What? Ben, what?
Trees.
Hold on. There you go.
What?
I currently have 133 days of VIP. I am set with VIP access for like the next like 6 months.
What happens if you you lose your phone and lose your account, or something happens and you can't log in?
I'm not going to lose my account.
You still got VIP access.
I still have VIP access. I'm good.
Yeah. I would have probably did something. I would have probably went into like, I don't know, maybe talents. Chief
or
level.
Maybe actually VIP level, or
I'm
is
VIP
anything
4
else
already.
other than
No,
just
so 30 days of VIP costs 10K, right? The amount for me right now to go from 4 to 5 would require me to spend 42. I would have gained like 1 level of VIP at most. And there is no benefit for 5, 6, or 7. It's really to get to all the way to 8. So now I can hoard up for the next 133 days because I already have VIP access. I don't have to spend my bios on that anymore.
Yeah. See, Affinity has 2 things I don't have: focus and math skills. So.
Yeah, when he starts mathing, I'm just done.
And pop up, or like Rain Man, or more like
Definitely biocaps.
It's honestly that meme with the woman with all the math going, and she's like, that's me whenever Finn starts talking.
ASDF. So honestly, I am trying to keep this account 100% free to play for this purpose, just to see how far a free to play. So like Durgan mentioned that he has he bought like the $5 pack for that second builder. I am still spending 500 biocaps to get him every couple days. And sometimes I have to spend like 2,000 because I'm putting him on a 4-day build So I have to, or like an 8-day build, so I need to get more of him. So my goal right now with this one is just 100% free to play. I have invested 0, and it's to kind of see how well I can keep up, right? Because the question comes up, how well can free to play keep up with spenders? And there are limitations, which we've already acknowledged, right? But I think I can be a contributing member of society despite not spending.
For all you Lost fans, Finn is actually our Desmond Hume. Does anybody else watch Lost? He's our constant. He's like our non-variable that's just playing straight free to play, so we can base all of our talk about whether free to play can do it or not.
I think you're doing great, Finity.
I think he is too.
Thank you, Durgan.
I think he is too. I think that was it. Somebody crazy Faka said, "I love when you say my name, McVenom." I bet you do, crazy Faka.
Get her match, I'll probably call you something else a little closer, but it's...
Stop it. All right, guys. So, anything else? Nope. It's 11
I think
o'clock.
I'm good.
It's 11 o'clock. I have a Harry Potter event tomorrow. See, Daedric's not the only big old nerd here.
Nerd alert.
What are you getting, a Slytherin get together?
Actually, I'm going as a Death Eater this time. I am Slytherin house, but I'm going as a Death Eater. So we have this
so
thing.
that wand in the eye helped?
Yeah, and I actually got a Death Eater tattoo, like fake tattoo to put on too. It's going to be awesome. I'll send you guys pictures.
Hey, Venom. We're gonna do a quick matchup here, and people in the chat can throw in what they think would win. Who would win, Sauron or Voldemort?
Voldemort. Sauron? Voldemort
Lord of
would
the
freaking
Rings? Are you serious?
Voldemort would grab the ring.
What?
Voldemort would get the ring and vamp right into the volcano.
No.
He's a stationary
Voldemort
eye
couldn't even
on
kill a
tower.
unicorn.
No. Sauron in his physical form.
Oh, I'm just
Voldemort
picturing
couldn't
the
kill
eye.
a unicorn. He couldn't kill a 12-year-old boy. Sauron
Very
would
true.
destroy him.
Okay,
Hey,
if you're
how
talking
about-
about his actual form, then I'm with you. If you're talking about just like master puppeteer Sauron that's in the tower with the eye controlling all the Uruk-hai and orcs, then yeah, no.
Nerd fight.
Okay, number 2, Nazgul versus Dementors.
Dementors. Dementors basically suck the soul and life out of you. And they're
The
impossible.
Nazgul, the Nazgul are lacking a soul.
Right.
Say the Nazgul on that one.
I'm
gonna
going
have
to say the Dementors in this one because
I'm
the
gonna-
Nazgul don't have flying skills on their own. They can get knocked off.
Yeah, and to be honest, to defeat a Dementor, you need a magical skill, such like a spell to do it, because they can't be defeated any other way. So
But if you have bow skills, does that work?
Yeah, but Nazgul can only be defeated by a woman, and there are no women Dementors.
wait, how do you know there's no women Dementors?
Aren't they all women?
They are whatever they want to
Sexist
be.
much?
And the last one is the Order of Wizards. So Radagast, Gandalf, Saruman against the Death Eaters.
The Order of Wizards.
Yeah. Personal preference there.
So
I'm a
I love
Radagast
Harry
fan.
Potter. Yeah, I love Harry Potter. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a beautiful world. I love any fantasy world where it's the characters are dynamic and it's just a fun world. So I love any character world like that. Harry Potter is fun. It's not badass. It's fun. I have to agree with Daedric. It's way better. Like Lord of the Rings is a better badass world. But Harry Potter's fun, and my kids love Harry Potter. And so this is supposed to be some kind of, like the not panic rooms, I keep calling them panic, but the escape rooms. Do you know where you have to solve puzzles to get out of the escape room? Mm-hmm. Well, they put on an outdoor event, and it's a Harry Potter escape room, but outdoors in the city where everybody's out there dressed up in Harry Potter, and they have it on an app where they send you clues. Each team gets clues on an app that they have to solve and go through in this little world. So I'm pretty excited about it. I might actually even film it, a lot of it on the phone, and kind of maybe put together a little something. I'll send it to the producer there and get him to put it together and put it up on the RSG server. It should be fun. I'm excited.
Isn't the easiest way to escape in that using your phone and using the Uber app?
That was
I
the
feel-
worst dad joke ever.
I'm not joking.
That
Like
was worse.
legitimately,
It
if
wasn't
you're
even
in the world and you're using apps on a phone, I feel like Uber is the greatest app ever because you auto escape.
Feel like you have to put like the rubber tip on your wand, so the
Yes, at least use your wand in order.
You know what?
Gotta use,
you know what? If Uber was young enough, Frodo would have Ubered that shit to Mount.
Oh
Doom.
hell yeah, hell yeah! Big tip at the end, but oh yeah.
you want me to care? And what day?
Uber determines the price too. That's the thing. You can put in Mordor. It's not gonna matter. Uber's gonna say just by distance, it's gonna be $50. Hell no, I'm not doing that for $50.
Seriously, you're gonna have to pay for my trip back too.
Yeah.
So, Daedric, I forgot to show you too. Let me forget. I took a bunch of pictures of the. We went to I don't know if anybody's from Tennessee area. In Pigeon Forge, there's a place called Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Have you ever heard of this place?
I've been there.
You've been there, Durgan?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a 3-story knife and sword shop. It's just the coolest thing. It's a sword
Guns
shop.
and knives and guns and knives and more guns and knives.
Yes. There was sword, and then they have a replica room that is all swords from like all these famous movies everywhere. Like,
It's the one with the museum in the bottom with like all the junk in the shelves.
no, we're not talking state of survival anymore. That
We
session,
have
is
been
over.
derailed.
Az at the end of this,
We're
we
wrapping
kinda
up the
go-
stream with complete randomness.
But they had like a Game of Thrones throne. They had like all the Lord of the Rings swords. They had swords from all these cool animes. It was really cool. So I took those pictures.
They had McVenom's walker in the back corner.
Oh,
Lame. I was talking about something that was exciting for you, Daedric, and then you're going and busting my chops that way. That's fine. Okay, you don't get to see the sword pictures. I'll send them to delete.
I would love to see him.
See? He would like to see my pictures of swords. You don't get to see them. Okay, guys. I don't think there's any other questions, Finn.
There's some other fun questions, but I think we can wrap it up and then have some fun in the voice chat after.
Yeah. We'll go to the voice chat so I can tell Daedric what he can do with his Walker comments without a filter on my mouth as I do in the stream. You guys have a great night. Thank you to Daedric, Delete, Finn, and Durgan for joining us on tonight's stream. Next week, I'm not sure what we're doing next week, but the week after that, we're going to have a ladies' night stream. I don't know if it's going to be official or unofficial SOS. We're still debating that, but it's going to be all ladies, so wait for that one. And also look forward to our new bunker theme. We're going to be working on it more. Finn, do you have anything to add? Anything that we're adding or working on?
I am working on McVenom's bunker theme.
And that was it. Okay. So you guys have a great night. I appreciate you tuning in, and happy hunting.
Okay, bye.
Rock on, Alan!